Time for our police cam segment showing the dangers officers face across the country. Before we show you the body cam, this was the 911 call that started the incident from a gas station clerk in Riverside, California, reporting a man who refused to leave.
I have a guy outside the store who's riding it's like a skateboard or a scooter. And we already asked him not to ride inside the store, and he keeps on doing it. He's panhandling with the customers.
An officer went to question the suspect, Edgar Bajarano, who was on parole for possession of stolen property.
Face away from me. Face away and put your hands behind your back, all right, dog? Just keep on. I'll tell you in a little bit. I'm going to tell you in a little bit. Just relax. I'm going to tell you in a little bit, dude. Don't try to fight, dude. Look, I will pursue. Run. Run. Oh, wait, kill me. Go get on the ground. Stop. Stop fighting. Stop fighting.
Now, Bajarano ran to a Ford that he had actually stolen 3 days earlier. He resisted, and the officer's body cam malfunctioned in the fight for about 20 seconds. It took another 20 seconds for the camera to start working again. During that time, the suspect started the truck and hit the officer with it.
Shots fired, shot fired. Rear to the AMPM. Keep your heads out!
Now, as the suspect revved the engine, the officer got up and fired 3 times. The shots missed Bajarano, but he put his hands up and was arrested by other officers as they arrived. The officer hit with the truck was taken to the hospital and treated for minor injuries. Bajarano was charged with multiple counts, including assault with a deadly weapon on a police officer, resisting arrest, using violence and possession of a stolen vehicle. Back with me now, retired LAPD Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey. Sergeant Dorsey, good to see you.
So a
clerk called 911 early in the morning after the suspect was bothering customers, wouldn't leave. That is the type of call that officers get on a fairly regular basis, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I know every police agency is different, but, you know, those are the kinds of calls in my mind that you never want to respond to as a solo officer, as a unit car, because we like the numbers in our favor. And if you have someone who's, we call it 415, uncooperative, not complying with what a merchant is asking them, leave my property. I need backup, because I don't want to have what happened with this officer get into a situation and now you've got to wait for responding units to get there. There are always telltale signs when somebody is going to do something. We have a term, he's acting hinky. He gets in a car and he runs over me. That's assault with a deadly weapon. Certainly could have killed that officer. He's very lucky himself, the suspect, to be alive.
Now, the suspect ran from the officer. He then got into a fight with him. As we mentioned, the body cam was not working for about 20 seconds, but let's see it. Let's see it again.
Don't try to fight, dude. Look, I will pursue. Run. Oh, wait, kill me. Don't get on the ground. Stop fighting.
So there is the point where, right at that moment when the body cam goes off and then it comes back, the suspect then hits the officer with the truck. As you pointed out, this could have had a truly tragic ending.
Yeah, and I don't want to second guess the officer, but, sometimes when we don't anticipate a thing going sideways, poor tactics lead to these kinds of incidents, leads to officer-involved shooting. Luckily, the officer wasn't seriously hurt. I wonder why he didn't ask for backup just a little bit sooner. I wonder if there was something that showed as a red flag to him that this could be problematic.
The officer fires and then the suspect surrenders. It's a little hard to tell, but did you get the sense that it was the shots that led him to give up?
It's hard to say because at that point he was in the car and he could have actually driven away. Maybe he just didn't know what he wanted to do. He didn't have a plan B. But again, You hit me with a car, I promise you things are going to end differently.
Yeah. And I think that one of the things that makes this segment more broadly so significant is that we are seeing incidents like this happen every day, right? I mean, they aren't in the news. They aren't covered every day. You know, when a police officer engages in some sort of conduct where people question it, et cetera, and there's a video of it, it's all over the news, right? Police misconduct, et cetera. But when a police officer is attacked, et cetera, it doesn't get a whole lot of media coverage, does it?
No, that's, I would ask the question of media folks. Obviously, you are different in that regard, and you're sharing these kinds of stories. But this is the kinds of things that officers face day in and day out, and that's why it's so important for us not to become complacent, to never take for granted that an encounter is going to go the way we expect. I'm always antsy and thinking that things could go sideways, and always I would much rather err on the side of I need assistance, I need backup, have too many officers there before it goes sideways in the event that this person might want to fight, and then maybe have an opportunity to try to get him into custody, de-escalate the situation without having to use deadly force.
Well, I'll say that if I had been a criminal, I would not have wanted Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey on the other side. Sergeant Dorsey, thank you for joining us.